So I'm going to do a special video for you guys. These are some cards, very unique cards. Some of them are in really, really bad shape, so we'll do the best that we can with them. But these are some things that I got from my mom. Some of them I got from my grandpa. So back in the tobacco days, you had cards like this that were about fables. You get to see Turkish trophies cigarettes, 10 cents for 10. The wild boar and the fox. It's just sort of a cool thing that they had back then. Two more of these cards that you have. It's a Matt McGrath. I believe and you get to see the advertisement. Honest long cut. Smoker chew. He was a champion something thrower. Weight thrower. He's one of the greatest, but this is pretty cool. That's from way back. Then we have a boxer I have never heard of, Stanley Ketchel. There are prices on these. These aren't actual prices. I had them one time on sale, but those things I'm going to keep. So here are the cards. I'll show you in the bag here first. Back in the 50s, they did these postcard series cards. These things are in terrible shape because my mom and her brothers would keep these in Millersburg, and they'd sort of staple them to the roof. So they in the attics, they had a lot of issues. Nothing on the back. I'm not sure who that is. Something Grady Hatton, and that's for the Reds. But you can see the giant crack there. Next up is a Mort Cooper. And these things, as you see with my hand, they're postcard sized. I'm not sure who that's for. If that's the Philadelphia Athletics, because it almost looks like the hat, but the uniform doesn't. I don't know. I don't know who Mort Cooper is. If you guys know, no, that's definitely not the A's, because here's a guy from the A's. Looks like Alex Kellner. It looks like he's an infielder or a second baseman or something like that. Very cool. Here's somebody you guys will recognize, but it's in terrible shape. This is Sincerely Yours, Ted Williams. Fairly bad shape. They taped it back then, but that, can't get better than him, Hall of Famer. Here's my mom's favorite player of all time, Richie Ashburn. She also loved Chris Short and trying to think, Robin Roberts. Those were her favorite Phillies players. But that's good old Whitey. Had him up. Another guy who made a huge, Jackie Robinson was the first African-American player in the majors, but Roy Campanella was shortly thereafter. Such a cool bit of African-American history to have a card like this, but he was a heck of a player and then got in a car accident and wound up being paralyzed from the waist down, so his career ended shortly, way too short, but phenomenal guy. Dom DiMaggio. This is the other DiMaggio. It's his brother. I believe he played for the Red Sox. But this one, I think somebody tried to protect this, but another one of the greatest pitchers of all time. Yours truly, Bob Feller. So, like I said, not any value with these. I don't know if you remember those Money videos back in like the 80s and 90s with Phil Rizzuto, but he's one of those complicated players where he was very popular. People loved him. He was a shortstop for the Yankees. Really borderline Hall of Famer, but they put him in. A lot of people aren't necessarily happy with it, but it's always cool to see that Yankee uniform. As much as I can't stand them, it's still cool to see those classic uniforms from the 40s and 50s. Here you have Bobby Doerr. I'm not quite sure who he played for. This is all things, if you guys want to say anything. Here you can see one of those holes where they stapled them or thumbtacked them to the ceiling. But cool pitcher. Johnny Pesky. That's what the Boston, I believe that would be Boston Red Sox. I love this one because it's a catcher pitcher, Wes Westrum. Really, really neat. They got ink on some of these things somehow at some point. Another Hall of Famer, Ralph Kiner. He's a great player. Here you have one of those cool names from back in the day, Red. It's a long one. It's very German. Here's a very Italian one with the White Sox, or that's the Cubs. Cordially yours, Phil Carraretta. Very, very cool. Another really, really good player from back in that time, George Kell from the Detroit Tigers. Here's where it gets interesting. I'm not sure if we have all the pieces to some of these. Here's another one. I think he's Hall of Fame. Sincerely yours, Luke Appling. This was from a piece of, I remember when this was whole and then it just deteriorated. National League champion Phillies, that would have been, I believe, 1950 or 51. And this is sort of how it is, unfortunately. Here's a Fred Dixie Walker missing his upper half. Another card broken. This would have been a landscape. Majeski. There's a guy's midriff. From the Braves, I believe. And that would have been... here's a guy missing his head. Roy Sievers. If you guys have any information on any of these, by all means. Yours truly, Andy something. But that's all that's left of that card. But I thought it'd be cool to share this with you guys. Some of the really, really old cards, what they look like. Some of the stuff from my family. It's just neat stuff from history of cards that I thought you guys would enjoy. Oh, did not mean to do that. Anyways, I want to say thanks for coming along, and we will see you on another episode of Unwrapping History.